Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Asian indices, and starting with the ASX 200 here. So we've been working down from this top here, and we're counting down this particular structure here. We've had 5 waves in this first leg here, so that means that we should be followed by another 5 waves in terms of after wave B here, wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. And there could be a bigger bear market than this here as well, but we just need to take it step by step. In fact, that this could be wave 1 here and this could be wave 2 here and coming down for wave 3 here, but still need 5 waves in it. So the first wave here anyway was fine, and wave 2 was fine. This structure here is not counting very well within here. I can sort of force it to fit in here, but it is a bit of a problem in counting this structure. So I do have a problem in here, and I'll sort of explain that when we get into smaller time frames here. So my sort of strategy is that we will go to the tick chart or the intraday chart and come up with a strategy for this, but just be aware here that the 5,500, 5 being the second strongest number in the market, once this finishes toying with it, because this is what it's doing at the moment, it's basically vibrating at this level here. So we're really looking for this to become the support or the resistance here, this particular number here. If it becomes the resistance, then we'll see the market down at 5,000 here. So when I look at the 4-hour chart here, we've got wave 1, which is fine, wave 2, and then we've had this as wave 1 here, which is fine, and wave 2 here. And I was looking down for wave 3, and this is where the problem starts here. This wave 4 that I was looking for to come back up to this wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, it's just gone past that. So it's broken an Elliott rule here. So I've got a situation here that I don't understand. It's, I mean, I could just put this up here, but then I'd have overlapping wave structures here. The other way to look at this here, maybe it's a bigger bear market and we have this wave 1 down here and this wave 2 coming back up into this space here. So that's a scenario as well. I'm not quite sure how to play this out at the moment here. The move up here so far appears to be in 3 it appears to be corrective here, but we'll look at that in a bit more detail in a moment. Just go to the 1-hour chart. I'm not sure what I've done here with this. No, I've just got a blank sheet here, so that's not going to help me. So let's just go here and focus on this here, because most of the work is intraday trading anyway. So I'll just go to the tick chart, which is 100 ticks now. I can force a count in here in terms of wave 1 here, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5. But if I do that, then this wave 3 here is the shortest in this sequence here. So it's a bit difficult to call this low in here, okay? But I just wanted to point that out as such. So we're left with this particular structure here. So let's just have a quick look at this here. So, well, firstly, we know this is a low here. It's just which low it is. So I'm thinking that this here, we'll just look at both sides of it. So far, it can be an ABC to the upside with wave 1 here, wave 2 here, wave 3 here, wave 4 here, and 5 waves up here for wave 5 here. So as wave C here. So if that's the case, then we'll just come straight down from this point, okay? The other point here too, if I've got this wrong, we could also, let's just look at this as a bullish point for a moment. Wave 1 here, wave 2 here, and then all of this up here for wave 3, and then it would leave wave 4 here. So wave 4 would be an A wave, a B wave here, and a C wave here, and we know that that would pull back 38.2%. So we're kind of just narrowing it down here to find out sort of what's what. So sitting on top of 5,500 here is the 38.2% retracement level. So we can expect this little current move to come down into that space there. So we could get a situation where the market comes down as an A and a B and a C to the 5,500 and then moves up for wave 5 here. If this moves up for wave 5 here, from here to here, then we know from the low here, we have 5 waves up here. And if we get 5 waves up here, then we're going to have an A and a B and a C wave back here, and then we're going to go up further from that point. Okay, so let's see what we actually get here. If we get those 5 waves moving up through here, then we know that we've got a bit of a problem at that point, and we'll have a change in trend at that point. So in the meantime, we know that's the 38.2% retracement level. This market could also pull down to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree here. But we could sort of work out that, say this is 5,500, if that becomes the resistance, then we kind of got to head towards that this is an A and a B and a C to the upside here. Okay, the other point here too is below the 5,500 is the group 2 here, the 65, 72 and the 80. If this becomes the retested resistance, you can also put in a trade on that side of it as well. And also too down here at where we go, 5,450, which is the midpoint. If that becomes the retested resistance as well, then you would add to that there as well. Okay, and just we'll leave it at that point, because if this moves down, then we would look at this as wave 1 here, wave 2 here, wave 3 coming down, wave 4 here, and wave 5 coming down here to round our target area here. Well, basically to the 6.1.8, which is in this space here. So that's where the support is going to be, okay, in 5 waves coming down. So if we get 5 waves coming down, then we're going to get a counter trend in 3 waves and then down again. So if we get that counter trend in 3 waves, draw a line across that, and then it would move down from that point. So that's about the best I can do for the ASX 200. Let's move across and have a look at the other markets. So where are we? China. So China's kind of on track here. Don't really need to do much here in that we're looking down from this wave 4 here as wave 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2 in here. And we're looking for this to be the wave 4 coming into play here. So that's doing that. And we'll see this move down here a bit further. So if I take this wave 2 here, and just bring that down to the 10,000. We can adjust that a little bit later, because we would need to look at this wave 4 here coming back to the 38.2% retracement level here. So if I can just bring that down here a little bit further, that will bring down here. So this still needs to come lower here, and then this wave 4 will be a bit larger, and then we can look for wave 5 coming down into that space. So don't need that, and I'll just save that. So that's all pretty sort of simple there. Hope that's helpful. And Hong Kong. So with Hong Kong here, we had the move down here as wave 3, and we're looking for an A and a B and a C wave here for wave 4. And we're expecting to move down lower from that point. So we had a nice impulse wave here. And then we've had wave 2 here. I could look at this as wave 1, and it has pulled back to the 61.8% here for wave 2 here. So we're probably on the right track here. This move down here, we'll see another bounce back here before seeing another move to the downside here. Basically, once this becomes the 2,500 here, 25,000 becomes the retested resistance, then we know that we're coming down here further. The other point here too is that we know waveforms can get a bit complicated, so it may pan out that it could get more complicated, especially if it stays above the 25 here. And in that case, then all of this up here, this ABC here, would just be the A wave here, and then an A and a B and a C here for this B wave I've got in grey here. So the B wave can be here, and then the C wave can have 5 waves all the way back up to this high here as a wave C of 4 here. So that's a possibility that can play out. The other possibility that can play out, because this is in 3 waves here, we could have a triangle pattern that's emerging here as well, and we would end up getting this here as an A wave, a B wave, a C wave pulling back into this space here, then a D wave, then an E wave for wave 4 here, and then down. So there are 2 variations for wave 4s here because they can get complicated. But once that 25 becomes the retested resistance, then we know that we're on the downside, and we can trade. You can trade down to 23 at that point. So that's what we're looking for. So I won't go into the intraday here at this point, but over the next few sessions, let's see if we get a breakthrough here and we become the resistance here, and then we can look down to the 23. We can look lower, but this is where we're going to get our main bounce from at that point. The Nikkei. So with the Nikkei, it's also pretty straightforward as well. From this top here, we've had this A, B, and C here. We can call it wave 2, and we're having 5 waves down for wave 3, or we've got wave B here, and we're coming down for wave C here. Either way, it doesn't make a lot of difference at this stage. We're still looking for lower move to the downside. This wave 4 here was rather simple, and it may get a bit more complex, but the good news is that it's pulled back up to its 38.2% retracement level, and it's also naturally doing the right thing in retesting the closest largest number. So we should see that fall to the downside. The distance from here to here, you can look for the 61.8% mark here. Once that's breached, then you know that will be moving lower from that point. There's only one little variation on this here, and I'll just go to the 1 hour chart to show you that, and I'll need to spend a bit of time on that. So from the wave C of 2 or B here, we've got wave 1 and 2 here. And the difference is that in this case I've got green wave 4 here, and on the 4 hour chart I had the blue wave 4 here. So I'm just toying with this, and I'll need to pull this apart and re-examine that. That takes a bit of time to do that. Yeah, so in this case here, there's a possibility that we can come lower here and retest this again and then move down. So until I've sorted this out, you'll have to leave your stops out of the way. We can move the stops down to this high here, and we'll save that. And the next one is the Nifty. So with the Nifty here, from the low here, we've been looking at this in terms of an A wave here, because we've got 5 waves here, and then an A, and we've got 3 waves here. So we've got an expanded flat in as wave B here, and then wave C. I know that you can count this differently as well, but even if you did count it differently, it'd still be corrective. So that's the main point there. And this being corrective, we should see new lows below here for this. So we were looking for our target top here around the 11,000, and that's coming nicely, and we've seen our first move to the downside, and the move back up through here has pulled back up into its box here, the 50-60% retracement level, and also on 10,800 as well. So we're looking for it to move lower. If it was going to be a bullish move up, and there will also be support here as well, you'll just have to watch this space here, and we'll work with that a little bit later. But that's where any move down, that's where the support's going to be. We'll have a look at the 1 hour chart here. So we had a few short trades in here already. So the market has moved down into the target area here, which is fine. It's also moved back up into this target area here, and then this will be the 50-60% retracement level from this low to that high. So this is where you need to get through here. The other point here too is in terms of the trading levels, we've got what I call group 2 here, which is 65, 72, and 80 here. Once the market, while the market's working with this number here, then group 2 here become the support for this. And then above this, we've got group 1, which is 1, 2, 3. So if we're working with 11,000, then we also got to work with, this is the vibration space for this. So we've got 1, 2, and 3, which make up group 1, and then group 2 here. This is the space for a correction here. Once this becomes the support here, the number 3, this is why number 3 is important. Once that becomes the support, then the market is leaving this number here. And it's the same down here as well. Once this becomes the retested resistance, we nearly had it here. Once this becomes the retested resistance, then the market is leaving this number on the downside. So that's why group 1 above and group 2 below are important. They have other functions as well. So the little tricky thing is here is normally when the 72 becomes the resistance, we would short, but in this case we're going to have to use the 65 because the move up through here and the move back this would be the support area here. So once the 61.8% becomes the resistance, then you know that you're onto the downside. So what we really want is we want this here to become the resistance here, and then you can have your short trade through here. So I'm just talking about the safe side of this here at the moment. And otherwise we can also bring that stop down here to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks bearish. I'll just leave it there for the time being. So yeah, so just on the bigger picture here too, on the 4-hour chart here, we've got the 4-hour chart. Let's just go out a little bit further. Might even just go to the weekly. So I was just looking at a couple of things here. I mean, from this move up through here, we could squeeze 5 waves out of this here, but the problem with that is that it just doesn't look really neat and tidy. When you look at the Nikkei, for example, it really looks like a B wave up here. So we could call a top in here, that's fine, but otherwise we really need to stay with this situation over here as wave 3, making this an A wave here, a B wave up here, and then a C wave here, but this is corrective here as well. So we can't call this wave 4 low in here at the moment unless we move above the 61.8% mark up here. So we're not there yet. So this is appearing corrective here. So we can count this here also as an A and a B and a C wave in here for this wave C, which would make this wave D here and wave E here for wave 4. So this is a real possibility here for a bit of a triangle pattern within here. So we really want to see the market below this 61.8% mark here to rule out this particular count. And if this is not the count here, then we would need to look at this as being a much more bearish picture coming to the downside here. But we're not there just yet. So we need to take things step by step. So we know what we're looking for on the intraday here, what needs to be breached. But in this bigger picture here, then we would need to see the 10,500 become the retested, well, even further down here, this 61.8%. So the 10,400 here needs to become the retested resistance. And then we know that we're coming down here a lot further. Because this is corrective here, that means we'll make a new low here. So I'll leave it there for the time being. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.